Slim Show. We're back with Mike Seibert.
Close enough. Seibert.
See, sorry, dude.
You know, it's so funny because, like, I used to, like, be that guy that was all uptight about it. It's like, oh, well, actually, it's Seibert. It's either spelled backwards or pronounced backwards, depending upon what side of the ocean you're on. And I could just give a fuck.
Dude,
you know,
my name has been butchered, like, my whole life, so I get it, man. I get it. My last name is Arnaudin, so even teachers in school, like, it's not even my father fucking says it wrong when he answers the phone, or when he says it, he says Arnaudin. I'm like, what are you, dude?
Arnaudin.
It's like, dude, that's our family.
Like, how do you not even know how to say your last name? And he's the one that carried it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no shit. Now, what's funny about that is that my wife, on the other hand, who has taken my name, she'll get all up in your face about it. She's like, it's Seibert.
So we pissed you off already. I'm sorry, bro.
Is your wife going to call us?
Off to a good start.
No. It's all good. So how are you guys doing tonight?
We're all right.
Pretty good, yeah.
We're all right. Where are you located, dude? You're in Washington, right?
Yeah, I am currently sitting in the KGRG FM studios located on Green River College campus in scenic Auburn, Washington.
Nice.
AKA South Alaska. We're about 30 miles south of Seattle.
Okay. Is it cold?
Yeah, it's rainy.
Yeah,
it's like mid-50s and rainy.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, no, there's no more snow. It's all good.
Good, dude. How long have you been doing radio, man?
Well, I have been part of KGRG since summer of 2015, so about like a year and a half.
Oh, wow. I figured you've been doing it for a long time, man.
You know, I really appreciate that. I get that a lot. Like when I interview bands or interact with folks, they're like, well, you sound like you've been doing this a long time. And so I mean that's all good. I really appreciate that. But yeah, no, I've only been doing this about a year and a half or so.
Wow. Are you a student there, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, let me tell you a little bit about what I do at KGRG. Now, our radio station, we play. We're a college radio station, 100% nonprofit, non-commercial, and our format is Today's Rock. Now, what's Today's Rock? Well, it's what the kids are listening to. You know, we play a lot of Warped Tour bands, and it's for the Hot Topic set. You know, it's radio for the kids, by the kids, as we like to call it. Right. In my case, it's just kids of all ages. But here's the deal. So, like, there are some colleges that have college radio stations. There are some colleges that offer academic programs that go with it. At our place at Green River College, it's one of the few programs in the country that does both. Our radio station is 100% managed, run, staffed, everything 100% by students. Everything from our music selection to the production, our commercials, everything that we make is all done in-house, and it's all done by students. So to answer your question, I'm what I would consider to be a student DJ. Like I take classes by day. I have my radio show on Monday night, and I train new DJs that come in. And
you haze them.
Oh, hell yeah!
I like a nice hazing,
man. It's like don't press that button. Oh man. So yeah, like at the end of the quarter, we have our introductory lab class, Journalism 110, and at the end of the class, basically what you do is you run them through the gauntlet of everything that can go wrong at the radio station and on the control board.
What would that be?
We have multiple sources that feed into our control board. So like we have one computer that plays our scheduling system that has all of our music and all of our songs. You have another computer that has music and sound effects. We have a couple CD players. We have a couple turntables and another computer that feeds into it. Plus, we have two auxiliary studios. So what we do is basically we turn everything on and everything up so that when this poor bastard student walks into the studio, they're just hit with this wall of overwhelming sound. And their job is to
fix it.
Yeah, not just fix it, but make it to where you're never broadcasting dead air.
Wow.
Because so basically like one of the tricks I do is like I will put in a CD or turn on a record and just let that go and have that be what's going out over the air, because it's like we don't want to fuck around with our listeners. We'll just so yeah, you can make it to where you can just hear it in the studio. People listening to the radio have no idea that this poor bastard student is going through hell trying to figure it out. But they have to solve all these problems and never stop the radio. So like I had I'll have students, they'll like turn off the CD player because they're just trying to turn down everything. I'm like, you just failed, buddy. What do you mean? Well, look at your voltage meter. Yeah, well, it's all the way in the left. You're not broadcasting anymore. Oh.
So nothing's going out. Wow. And is that broadcast live on the station when you do that, or?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow.
That's that's the thing with our radio station. Like I mentioned, it's it's student ran, good, bad, or indifferent. So occasionally we make mistakes, we mess stuff up.
Well, dude, that happens on regular radio. I've heard dead air or commercials. Like mess up and all that. That's cool though.
Well, and that's what makes our station so special and our program so special is that, our lab class is just that. It's a lab class. It's hands-on learning, and our quote-unquote lab just happens to be a living, breathing radio station.
That's cool, man.
It is so cool.
That's really cool. What I was going to ask, is there any cool, like, what do you guys play? Do you like, what kind of music? Do they come from like the record labels themselves? Is it up-and-coming bands, or is it like is it mainstream stuff?
The answer you're looking for is yes. All of that.
Okay.
We try to highlight local up and comers. And a lot of it is just grassroots, what they reach out to us. Like,
oh, wow.
I get like 2 or 3 emails a week saying like, hey, I was listening to your show, or I was listening to your station. Give a listen to our stuff. Like, I've made really good friends with this band out of Charleston, South Carolina, a band called Mary Tree, and they play what they call grunge metal, which is basically kind of like it's a kind of the Seattle grungy sound, but kind of via South Carolina. It's really dope.
Sounds like it'd be good. It's called Mary Tree.
Mary Tree, one word.
Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome. So yeah, check out my Twitter and my page. I'm constantly hyping their stuff.
Nice.
I play them on the radio all the time. In fact, they recently did a TV appearance on like their local variety show thing, and I mailed the drummer, the guy I've been corresponding with. His name's David Dietz. I sent him a KGRG T-shirt. Dude wore it on TV.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to ask. What your favorite bands that you've come across doing it? Is that your favorite band?
That would definitely be one of them. One of the things that we play on my show is we kind of play nerdy music. So like that could be like
Weezer.
I'm going to interrupt because I listened to your most recent show and you played a song from a band where the song was about the guy becoming a mutant, like an X-Men, joining the X-Men for the first time.
Yeah, totally. That's from a band from around here called Kirby Crackle. And they sing about comic books and video games, and yeah, that song was about basically discovering your mutant powers and being recruited by the X-Men. They also do a song about being in the Green Lantern Corps.
Nice.
It's really cool. So that's an example of where like I was a fan of their music before I became part of KGRG, and then once I did and had my own radio show, I'm like, I like this stuff. I want to share it with my listeners. So here you go. Here's Seattle Nerd Rockers Kirby Crackle.
Cool.
And fans have been digging on it to the point where they have a show coming up as part of our local comic convention here, Emerald City Comic Con, where KGRG and myself will be there kind of in an official capacity. I'll have like a banner and I'll be handing out bumper stickers and all that stuff. And for me as a fan, that's kind of a dream come true, to where like, actually it's a couple dreams come true at the same time, because one, I'm going to a show that I was going to anyway, except I've been invited by the band. I don't have to buy a ticket. but then I'm representing the radio station that I've grown to love and has given me all these opportunities. So it's like I'm just checking boxes and living dreams. It's
nice.
It doesn't suck, dude. It doesn't suck.
What is your show called, Mike? Is it the Monday Project?
It sure is.
Okay.
And it's so the Monday Project airs every Monday night starting at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So that's 10 o'clock for you guys. Usually runs 3 hours. You know, it's like I'll say like 7 to 10, but then it ends up being like 7 to 10-ish. So like for example, this most recent episode on Monday, we didn't do a show the week before because basically like the campus was buried in snow. And
I saw that. You tweeted that, dude.
And that was the first show I had missed in, get this, 70 consecutive weeks of broadcasting on Monday night.
Wow.
I was heartbroken, but there was nothing I could have done about it.
Yeah, that's like this show. I've had like horrible like toothaches, and I never miss a show, man.
Yeah, show goes on. I mean, you guys know that.
Yup.
And you said in that recent show you actually just decided to just like jam like two or 3 weeks worth of content into like one episode, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So we didn't end up signing off until like almost 11 because like, you know, we wanted to talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. My intern, Big E, intern Elijah, he's a huge sports fan. So he wanted to talk about the game a little bit, and you know, I mean, I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. Fuck Tom Brady. I hate that guy. But yeah, no, so we talked about that and really just kind of catching up. And that's the thing with our show is, you know, as you guys are experiencing now, I can't shut up to save my life. I'll just keep talking.
I like that though.
I mean, basically, I took our instructors are telling us over and over that our radio station, KGRG, is a music station. People tune in to listen to the music. I found a way to make a late night talk show work. That's where basically, cool. I mean, you guys have listened. We play music, but not. I would say the vast majority of it is talk over music.
Yeah, I worked in radio early 2000s, and that's what me and my buddy Derek started doing. And when the programming director of the station found out, he's like, he was really mad. He sat Derek down in a meeting. He's like, I don't know if this is a good idea that you do this show with Robbie. And then he started listening. I guess he was sitting there with Derek across the desk, and he put the tape in. And then he ended up, he's like, I love this. He's like, you should have Robbie on every week. So it's cool.
Well, I like your energy too. You know, it's got like that abrasive East Coast vibe to it. It's like I really dig on your show. It's cool. Well, I mean, we're all a bunch of snowflakes here in the Pacific Northwest, so to have something with a little bit of edge to it is pretty cool.
Cool, dude. Cool. That's what I'm gonna ask. Who are some of your not idols, but you know, who do you like in radio? Is there anybody that you've looked up to?
Yeah, definitely. BJ Shea is huge here in Seattle. He started off like years and years ago in Rochester, I think, and then he's been on our flagship radio station 99.9 KSW for just over 10 years now. And I remember listening to this guy when he did a afternoon kind of FM talk show. It was kind of like Tom Likas Light.
Okay.
So it was kind of it was like Diet Coke Tom Likas. But he took that show from like a 2-hour midday thing and turned it to a flagship morning show. And I've always looked up to him as a broadcaster, and he's one of the folks that really kind of inspired me to get into radio to begin with. Nice. Because like this radio station, they not only do they do their radio show, but each of the hosts has their own separate podcast that they do kind of like on the side. And his was called BJ Shea's Geek Nation. And they would talk about comic books and all of this stuff that you can't talk about on normal radio because nobody wants to hear that. Gives a shit during I mean, certainly not during morning drive. I mean that's what. So what I would do is like I would send them emails or text messages or voicemails, and then they would start playing my stuff over the air.
Cool.
And then they would start recognizing me. It's like, oh, we got another email from Mike. And like, I would see them at live appearances, and they would start to recognize me and know me. And I went up to their studio a few times to actually record with them, and that was my first taste of actual broadcasting. I mean, it was for a podcast, but still, talking into a microphone, and I was like, this is really fun and really cool.
That's awesome.
And then, I kind of sort of unrelated, I figured out my college that I was going to had a radio station.
Nice. Do you do?
Yeah, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
Well, let me finish one last thing. So, so I was enrolled in Green River College here taking IT classes, and in my last quarter, I walked into the hallway and I saw a flyer. It says "Be on the radio," and I was like, "Be on the radio? That kicks it." I had been going to that school for almost 3 years, and I had no idea that we had a radio station, let alone 2. And so I mean, I took our lab class, Journalism 110 and Journalism 120 over the summer, and got bit by the bug. Whatever IT path I was on was totally altered. I'm a broadcaster now, and there's no going back.
Cool, dude. Cool. Do you do interviews on your show?
Yeah. In fact, I have a couple interviews coming up this next week. I'm talking to, like I mentioned Kirby Crackle before. I actually talked to him last week, but I'm interviewing a band out of New York City. They do kind of like nerd rock, coffee rock type thing called Chamber Band, and basically they do similar to what you guys heard from Kirby Crackle about like, being an X-Men, but they sing about like Dungeons and Dragons and Hunger Games and all that stuff. But it's got like this cool indie, almost emo vibe to it. Right. It's the sad kids really dig on it.
You said coffee rock. Is that what coffee rock is, or does that just mean you're carried at like a coffee shop?
Yeah, it's kind of coffee shop vibey, and I got that straight from their Twitter bio. So no slight is intended. That's what their bio says. I'm like, coffee rock. All right, that's cool. Whatever. and then to contrast that, I'm interviewing a hip hop punk rock artist from Caldwell, Idaho. Goes by the name Big O, and it's his stuff is really interesting because it's got punk rock type guitars and drums and speed and rhythm, but he's doing kind of like an in your face aggressive hip hop type delivery. It's very, very interesting.
So sort of like I'm trying to think like kind of like Rage Against the Machine, like they kind of had that like that punky like aggressive feel to them, but with the hip hop style lyrics.
Definitely, yeah, very, very similar. But yeah, I do interviews with bands all the time. Yeah, cool. It's really fun, and it's like cosplayers, like you were asking me about that picture I have on my SoundCloud with the guy that looks like Robert Downey Jr.
I thought you had Robert Downey on your show, man. Dude, he looks just like him. His name's Jason, and he's from a cosplay business, a charitable cosplay business called Costume Characters for Causes, and we were partnering up with him at a local comic convention. Just trying to get people interested in coming over to take pictures with the costume cosplay superheroes for a charity they were supporting called the Good Times Project. Cool, dude.
I've interviewed all kinds of folks. It's really cool.
Speaking of nerd music, I just tweeted you. Did you ever see it was like a parody of that song, like a G6, I think it was called, and it's Roll a D6. It's a Dungeons and Dragons version of it.
I gotta check that out. I see the tweet. I don't want to click on it because if I clicked on it, it'll start going over the radio.
Yeah, definitely check that out. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna retweet that, and then I will definitely check that out at my leisure. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, dude, it's cool. It's really cool. What big events do you have coming up? I know you said you have Cracklefest. Are there any other events you got coming up?
Yeah, the biggest things I want to talk about now are Cracklefest. That's going to be March 3rd the Friday of Emerald City Comic Con. That is going to be at the Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Seattle, like a block or two walk away from the convention center. It's always the Friday of the convention. I mean, this is a giant fucking comic convention. It started off as like a one-day show in like an exhibition hall next to a football stadium. Now it's 4 days taking up the entire Washington State Convention Center. I mean, it's almost as big as San Diego Comic-Con at this point. It's nuts.
Wow.
But anyway, this Crackle Fest show, it's Kirby Crackle, chamber band, and another nerd rock band called H2 Awesome, originally from New York, and I think they're now out of Denver. They did the song that I played on Monday about Carl staying in the house. You know, like Carl, stay in the house, and it's all, for all the Walking Dead folks.
Yeah,
it's got the theatrical side of nerd rock. It's really, really cool.
Nice.
And then keeping on with that, all throughout the weekend, Costume Characters for Causes will be. They'll have a booth inside the Emerald City Comic Con, and I'm basically going to join them and kind of like get like a corner of their table to like hand out KGRG stickers and just kind of there to be visible. Basically kind of like we're trading exposure, for lack of a better word. You know, it's like, you know, I'm promoting them and they're, you know, giving me access to, you know, hang out with them. So
Nice.
that's it's going to be really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, and you know, we always got stuff going on, like, you know, upcoming interviews, like you know, like we've got a Pearl Jam tribute show that Kirby Crackle is throwing on. Later on in the spring, we'll have our twice annual KGRG pledge drive show, where we usually bring in, like, you know, 3 to 6 local bands. We put on our own concert to benefit our nonprofit, non-commercial radio station. That's always a good time.
That's cool. What is the most fun you've had doing a single show?
Oh, a single show. Okay, so, oh man, so we used to play a game on our show called "Is It Real or Is It Fake?" that my producer slash co-host Micki came up with, where initially it was she would go over music genres. And some of them were real that she researched, others were fake that she made up. And she would basically, since I have the musical fluency of a partially thawed fish stick, like don't ask me what pop punk is, because I can't explain it. It's like it's either having to do with eating pizza or singing about your hometown or just being aggressively upset or something and sad. As near as I could tell, all of that falls under the umbrella of pop punk.
Right.
So like I'm older and she's younger, so we played off of that contrast. And you know, she would try to stump me and I would never get them right. But there was there was a show where she wasn't there, and so I tried to come up with my own version of the game, but since I don't know anything about music, I improvised and came up with comic book characters. And one of them was, and they all ended up being real. It's like I didn't have time to actually make up fake comic book characters. One of them was this character called Wild Dog. He was like a vigilante character from DC Comics. And he's just so absurd. Like he has like he's like a Punisher ripoff, but he has camouflage pants, a electric blue football jersey with a laughing red dog logo on it, and a Jason Voorhees style hockey mask.
He sounds
just
horrible.
goes through and murders people. And all of the guests that I had up there, they were all stumped. They were convinced that, like, I'm like, well, yeah, you know, he's an auto mechanic by day, but he's a former college football player and he's a former Marine. And they're like, you're full of shit. This dude, totally real. Came out in 1987.
Wow.
And so that segment, Is It Real or Is It Fake, usually goes for like 10 to 15 minutes. we were on the radio unbroken without playing any songs or any promotion spots or anything for 38 minutes.
Nice.
It's the longest time we were live without any breaks, and
cool.
it was. I still think that is the funnest time I've had on the radio.
Awesome.
Because, like, we're in my classes, I've learned all of the rules of broadcasting so that I can proceed to go ahead and break them. Like,
Mike.
Yes, sir.
We got to wrap this up, dude, but where can everybody find you?
All right, very good. Go to the Monday Project show page on kgrg.com. That is the hub where you can find all the outlets for our show. We're on Monday night, every Monday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time, so 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern time. You can also listen live right there on the website. There's also links to listen on iHeartRadio and TuneIn Radio as alternatives. We're also streaming on the go using the KGRG FM app. That's free on Apple and Android devices, by the way. We love the free apps, as well as on iHeart and TuneIn Radio apps as well. Let's see. If you can't listen live, you can get the Monday Project podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, on SoundCloud, and at kgrg.com. And we are a proud #Podern Family podcast.
Awesome, Mike Seibert.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, brother. Have a good one.
All right. Have a great rest of your show. I'll be listening.
Awesome.
Cool,
Thank
man.
you, brother.
Later.
Later, bro.